Hey people, it's Jeff Tellis from EatLivePrimal.com, and I'm posting this video today to address a conversation that I was following on Facebook earlier today. And without getting into all the minutiae, the question in a nutshell was, do you think it's a parent's responsibility for what their children eat, or should there be more regulation on things like television commercials, marketing to children, or should there be more education in the schools as far as teaching the kids what they should or shouldn't eat, monitoring what they are being served, school lunches, so on and so forth. And the easy answer to this, and this is coming from an objectivist point of view and a capitalist point of view, and what I would consider a primal point of view, which covers my approach to nutrition and exercise. And the answer, hands down, without question, is absolutely not. We need to, the parents, is completely 100% on the parents to educate their children on what they want them to eat. It is their responsibility to feed their children and have them make their own decisions on what they're going to put into their bodies. You cannot ask the government to govern things like commercials. Things like the FCC should be eliminated completely. They are absolutely useless. It's complete censorship. A company, whether you agree with it or not, should be able to market to whomever it wants in whatever manner that they want. It is your choice to purchase that product or not. If there is not a demand for that product, or if there is a great upheaval against the way they market, people will not purchase the product, the company will not make money, and they will cease to exist. Period. That's capitalism. You cannot expect a school, a public school, to be responsible for your child's health. You cannot ask anybody to sink $1 into public education to make a decision on what your children should eat. On the contrary, what you should do is pull all the funding out of public schools for this. It is not up to a public school to make that decision. They are incapable of making that decision. Public schools are failing miserably across the board. It's a broken system that doesn't work. It's failing. It will not be fixed. It cannot be fixed. Period. Children are dumber than ever and are fatter than ever. So if you think that pumping more money into this failed system is going to produce a better product, you are out of your mind. You are a socialist and you are completely misguided. What you need to do is eliminate all this money, give the money back to the taxpayer, and let them buy a higher quality food. That's exactly what needs to be done. The people that have created these education systems and things like the Food Pyramid Guide and the My Plate, this is the problem to begin with, because it doesn't work. The FDA is the problem. That needs to be eliminated. There needs to be no regulation on food, period. And I know you're going to think this is crazy, but that is where the whole problem started, because you get a bag of Doritos that is federally approved to eat as safe food, and they put a label on it so you feel even more comfortable about eating it because you think you know what's in it. Therefore, you feel very comfortable eating this food. If this was not FDA approved, there is no way you would rip open a bag of Doritos, get hit with that smell, look at those things, or Cheetos, or any of those foods. You would realize this isn't food, and you would never have the balls to stick it in your mouth because you don't know what it is, because it would smell and look like poison. So the problem is, the government that you trust, that you fund, and that you want to take control of your not only education, but your food choices, are okaying and greenlighting these foods. If you didn't have the facade of the safety of the government protecting you from bad food, you would be eating nothing but real food. As far as organic food and the labeling, and everybody knows we don't have to get into the minutia. Something that's marked natural means nothing. It's meaningless. Things like cage-free, these are meaningless terms. There's very little truth to a lot of these labels. What you would do to provide yourself and your family with proper healthy food is you would have to go back to the source. You would want to know the source of your food, whether it was a farmer or even if it was a company you were buying the food from. You might be more susceptible to actually go to the food plant, maybe know somebody that works there, and have a sense of the quality of the food that you're eating. But you have an overblown government that we keep funding to take care of this for you that is failing epically. And you are under the umbrella of safety of the FDA, who has done nothing to protect you from poisonous food. It has done nothing but accelerate the problem. Now, also going through this feed, there was some people that seemed to be pretty on board with what I'm saying. Hey, freedom of choice. I should be able to eat what I want. My kids should be able to eat what they want. Don't butt into my business. Then at a certain point, somebody was saying that would be, I'm paraphrasing, like my boss at work telling me that I can't eat, a Twix bar or something of that nature. And it's my right to eat what I want. And then somebody else came in and said, well, there is a company out there that does restrict them eating sweets on the job. And I say that's perfectly fine too. If your boss, your company, doesn't want you to eat sweets while you are working, that is perfectly fine. The company should be able to decide their own policy. So the same person that wants to have, the freedom to do what they want is going to be the same person that runs to the labor department and says, protect me, my boss is a tyrant and won't let me eat a Twix. You can't have it both ways. If you don't like the company that you are working for because you can't eat a candy bar when it's a designated time or on their premises or whatever, quit. Get a new job. You do not have the right to complain about it or to run to the government to protect you. Now, if enough people want to eat a Twix bar that work at this company and they either cease to quit or get fired, the company will not have enough quality workers because all of the quality workers will go to the competition company, and that company will flourish while the non-sweet eating company will cease to exist, and the market once again takes care of itself. If you think about, if you were the owner, that would be like saying that if you didn't want smoking, which in your company, and somebody wanted to smoke, you should have the right to do that. Just the same, if you wanted to allow smoking, you should have the right to be able to do that. You can't have it both ways, have government step in and regulate some things and not the other. You need hands off completely, and if you don't like the company or the boss that you work for, it is your right to not work there, and it is your boss's right to eliminate you. Period. You are not given the God-given right to a job. You are given the God-given right to educate yourself and make yourself a viable employee and somebody that's employable, but you aren't granted a job. It doesn't make sense. Just like you can't expect the teachers or somebody else to handle your children's well-being. They are not capable of it. They're lucky they can take care of their own children. These teachers, I'm telling you, most of them are lucky they can get their pants on in the morning, and you are in trouble if you are going to let them decide what your children should be eating. It is on you. Take responsibility for yourself. You do the educating of your children. Get your own brain set first. Stop hiding behind government.